Did you know that underneath the beautiful streets of Paris is hidden one of the most horrifying places in the world? It's called the City of the Dead, or the Kingdom of Shadows. Locals call it Les Catacombs. And this place is just a stone's throw away from the Eiffel Tower. If you were to visit, you would have no idea about the bloodshed and death that has occurred here. You wouldn't even be able to tell that there was a mass grave underneath your feet. Today we will show you around this city of the dead where over 6 million people lost their lives. The history dates back to 1785 when the Paris cemeteries became too full. They then decided to open up an underground tunneling system where the dead bodies could be moved. But soon after, the digging continued deeper and deeper into the ground. This tunneling system kept expanding, getting bigger and bigger until it spanned over 200 miles of underground tunnels. The first few levels are relatively well maintained and organized. There are even some names chiseled onto the walls of the catacombs. But as you go further down, it becomes more and more chaotic. You'll find entire rooms filled with bones stacked against each other. As you walk through these narrow passages, you can feel the weight of all those bones pressing down on you. You can also see the different types of bones and skulls that belonged to men, women, and children. And if that didn't freak you out enough, wait until we show you some of the things carved into the walls. Some of the messages are quite sad. For example, here's one that reads, "I died of hunger, the innocent victim of the massacre of September 2nd, 1792. Or how about this one? "To my dear husband, you will live in the hearts of your loving widow and children." And then this one, which simply says, "Mother, I loved you." But there are also some pretty messed up things carved into the walls. Here's one that says, "May the bones of Protestants not rest in peace." Another says, "Beware of the vipers," which is Latin for beware of snakes. And this one reads, "In vain you hide from God." It's hard to believe that so many people died here, but during the 18th century, Paris was overcrowded. The living conditions were terrible. There were beggars and pickpockets everywhere. People couldn't even walk down the street without getting attacked. The streets were also filthy because there was no sanitation system. To make matters worse, food was scarce and expensive. People were starving, so they turned to robbing and murdering to get what they needed. There were many massacres and uprisings during that time period, but perhaps the worst was the September massacres of 1792. During this event, an angry mob stormed two of Paris's prisons and slaughtered over 1,000 people. The prisoners were mostly nobles and clergy who were hated by the commoners. These people had no idea that they were about to be killed. They were sleeping in their beds when the attackers came in and started hacking them to pieces with axes and swords. Women and children were not spared. The attackers went on a rampage for 3 days straight, killing anyone they could find. Most of the victims were thrown into the river, but some were taken to the catacombs. Their bodies were thrown into the tunnels where they decomposed. Later, their bones were collected and placed in the ossuaries. Since then, the catacombs have become known as the final resting place of the September massacres. But this is just one small part of the story. Over the years, the catacombs have seen many more deaths. During the French Revolution, thousands of people were guillotined and their bodies were buried here. Then there was the cholera epidemic in the 1830s, which killed over 100,000 people. Most of the victims were poor and lived in unsanitary conditions. They were buried in the catacombs along with everyone else. But arguably, the saddest part of the story is that no one knows how many people are buried here. We do know that it's well over 6 million people, but we don't know the exact number. All we know is that it's a lot. There are so many bodies buried here that the grounds are considered cursed. Many people believe that the spirits of the dead still wander these tunnels, and some say they've even heard voices and footsteps while exploring. When you think about all the pain and suffering that has occurred here, it's hard not to feel sad. The catacombs are a reminder of how brutal life can be, but they're also a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. Despite all the death and destruction, life goes on. For many years, the catacombs were a secret. No one knew about them, and the entrances were covered up. But eventually word got out and people started exploring. In 1809, Napoleon made it official and opened up the catacombs to the public. He said that it should be a place of remembrance for the victims of the revolution. These days, the catacombs are a popular tourist destination. People come from all over the world to see this amazing place. But before you go exploring, make sure you bring a flashlight and wear comfortable shoes. It's easy to get lost in the tunnels, and some parts are very dark and narrow. Also, please be respectful when visiting. This is a place of remembrance, and we should honor that. Don't run around or make a lot of noise, and definitely don't take any souvenirs. If you're looking for something to do in Paris, we highly recommend checking out the catacombs. It's an experience that you will never forget. Just be prepared for what you're about to see. After hearing all this, are you still interested in visiting the catacombs? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.